Hello and welcome to your free webinar. I'm just going to start my screen share here. Okay, so welcome to the 5 biggest mistakes business owners make that waste thousands of dollars during their launches. I'm Gina Decker and I am a tech guru who is going to help you avoid some of these top mistakes. Now, I've handled probably over 35 launches at this point. I lost track at 35. So I help business owners who are launching their online products and services and afraid that it's going to just not do well during their launch. And so we just make sure that all of the tech is handled, that everything runs smoothly, and we really just want to make sure that you are as successful as you can be during your product launches. Now, you're in the right spot if you want to grow your business with JV partnerships. And if you're not familiar what a JV partner is, it stands for joint venture partner, and we're going to define that in a little bit. And so if you're not sure what that is and how it can help you, you'll be surprised because it's really going to be a cool concept for you. You are budget conscious if you're here, hopefully. I was definitely on a tight budget when I first started launching online products and services. And so I'm going to share with you some budget conscious tips today. Also, if you like to outsource the tech work, I know some of us like to fiddle around in WordPress and try to get some of it done ourselves and save money by not outsourcing to a team. But whether you like to do it yourself or if you like to outsource it, this is for you. And we're going to talk about how to launch in as little as 4 weeks. So that's really not that much time. All right, so what can you do with a launch for your business? Now, these are great because you can actually get a nice quick cash infusion to your business by doing a launch. But you want to make sure that you're avoiding the mistakes, because if you launch and you don't get any sales, that's not going to be good. So what it will do is get your name and content out there in a bigger way. And you can actually have affiliates or joint venture partners help you promote that. And once you have, an idea that's converting well, you can actually launch over and over again. And so you can create a basis for regular income in your business. And I always tell my clients the first launch is hard, and then after that is rinse and repeat. All right, so if you want to go from 0 to 60 in 4 steps, here's a little race car. All right, so you want to launch your online product or service. And so if you're a service provider and you mainly give coaching or services, you may actually have maybe a different level of commission that you're charging for JV partners. So it doesn't actually matter whether you're going to be launching an online group program, which is leverage time, or if you're going to be launching a product or service that you personally deliver. From there, we're going to go over a simple sales funnel. This does not have to be complicated. So a sales funnel really is just 4 pages at a basic level. And so we're going to go over that as well. Now, if your launch timeline is in the next 4 weeks, this is going to be perfect for you. If it's sooner than that, then you might get a little bit stressed out. So I do recommend at least 4 weeks. And if you have a program outline or title in mind, this is going to be really helpful. If you are not exactly sure what the final title is or even all the modules of the program, don't worry about that. You don't actually have to know all of that before you launch. Now, what is a joint venture partner? That stands for joint venture or JV partner, and it's somebody who helps you grow your business. And normally they have a niche that's similar to yours, but they don't teach the things that you teach, and they don't quite specialize in the exact same thing that you do. And so you can promote each other and support each other, and it's a win-win situation. So normally the JV partner promotes to his or her list during the launch, but sometimes you can do a different kind of swap so that it's win-win for everybody. And you're basically going to expect a 30 to 50% commission on a leverage group program. And so if you are a service provider, like I said before, and you have direct coaching time, it might be less than that. So you'll just have a very candid discussion with your JV partner. It might be 10%, maybe some of your packages for direct services don't come with commission. And so you'll want to just be truthful with your JV partner and make sure it's win-win for all of you. Next, you're going to want to give swipe copy and graphics to your JV partner. And so you want to make it as easy as possible for them to promote you. And so, swipe copy is just email copy that you have your partner send out for you. Usually they customize it, but sometimes they don't. And so you don't want them to have to write all that copy for you, just have it ready. And they call it swipe because you can swipe from one marketer to the other, and you usually customize it. And then from there, you want to give them some graphics. And so if they're promoting on social media, you want it to make it really easy for them to share the links. Now, we're going to go into the technical aspect of this a little bit more, but an affiliate link is what you want to give to your JV partners. And so the link basically tracks, the free gift all the way to the sale. And so you want to make sure that that's tested and that it's working. Now, finally, if you have a JV partner that you're kind of courting and you want to make sure that they have a bigger list than you do, they will often ask for evidence of conversion, meaning they want to see that you launched this before, that you have some stats on the sales, that it's a successful offer that they can bring to their list, because they actually don't get paid until they make a sale off of their affiliate link. And so you want to make sure that your pages look really good before JV partners promote, and you want to make it as streamlined as possible. Now, you also may want to give opt-in stats, and that's basically when somebody opts in to receive your free gift, they may click and view the page and then put in their name and email. They call that an opt-in. And so you want to make sure that your opt-in rates are fairly good the bigger the JV partner that you're approaching. And usually a JV partner is not a full business partner legally, and so they're really just wanting to support you and you're supporting them. And so it's a win-win situation. Now, I've worked on over 35 launches, so I do this a lot, but I didn't always know what a joint venture was. And so about 3-4 years ago, I joined a group called the Joint Venture Insider Circle, and there's about 400 to 600 entrepreneurs in there. It's led by Rich Gurman, and it really gave me the fundamental training that I needed to know about JV partners and how to get that relationship going, how to approach JV partners. But the technical stuff I actually learned by becoming their tech guru. So I'm actually the JVIC's tech guru, and I lead a monthly JVIC tech call in which I answer questions about different JV softwares and affiliate platforms and all kinds of different systems. And so I love getting those questions and answering them, and I'm always happy to help. So if you do have questions, please post them in the chat, tag me on Facebook, I'm happy to answer them. Now, I got the privilege of being on the JVIC team, so that pulled back the curtain on 6- and 7-figure launches for me. And JVIC grew very rapidly in a short amount of time, and so I saw the team coordinate really large launches. And what's really cool is that there's not a big difference between a small launch that you can do and a big launch. It really just up-leveling certain parts of the launch. So this is definitely something that you can do as well. Now let's get into some of the mistakes that business owners make. The first is not having niche clarity. And this one's really big. It's not even a technical thing, but basically a niche is a distinct segment of the market or having an appeal to a certain segment of the market. And that's important because you don't want to market to everyone. You want to just market to the people who need you and the people who can really tune into your expertise. So you don't want to be too broad And if you don't have this perfectly set, it's okay. But it really helps to have just a concrete idea about what your ideal client is struggling with. Because if you don't know that, you can sometimes develop these, very obscure products and they just don't sell. So you want to be able to speak to their pain point. Now, this is a sad but true story. I know a business owner who wanted to make a bigger impact. She was an expert in her field. She actually had a corporate finance background, and she really wanted to launch. And so she developed a product idea, and she purchased all the right systems. I say right in air quotes because they were just systems that people had sort of randomly recommended to her. And she didn't really know her audience or niche because she really didn't have that many clients. And so she didn't really have an idea of their pain points. And she launched a product at $9.97 repeatedly with JV partners, sometimes without JV partners, and it just didn't sell. And she launched over and over again, did webinar after webinar, and it just didn't sell. So it was kind of devastating to see that happen to her. And then ultimately what happens is that she fell ill because she was stressed out from all the money she spent on these systems and the time that she had spent trying to grow her list. And basically she shut down her business only after a couple years. So I don't want to see that to happen to any of you. I do care. And so please don't make that mistake. All right, so the second mistake is creating an offer in a vacuum. And this goes back to what we said about the niche. And so if you're not sure, even if you're just starting out, you can start these conversations. So you can offer a free consultation and you can get people on the phone and they will basically tell you what they're struggling with. And you can have assessments, I said assessments, but they could be surveys or even just informal questions that you post on Facebook and ask people what they're struggling with. And then you want to really listen to what they have to say, take notes and learn the language to use on your sales pages, on your opt-in pages, because you're going to want to use exactly the wording that they tell you. And so you don't want to just use jargon or marketing words. You want to use the words that they use to describe their problem. All right, so mistake number 3 is choosing the wrong systems. And there actually isn't a right or wrong way. This is just meaning that you don't want to choose systems that are wrong for your budget or wrong for what you're trying to do. You want to choose the right systems for you and your budget. And when I first started with launches, I had a really tight budget. I was working on my master's. I had a full-time job. I only had, time to work on my business basically in evenings and weekends. So I did not want to start out with really expensive systems. And so what I did was I got Aweber, which is an autoresponder, and I paid maybe $49 a quarter for Aweber. And I had upgraded actually from a free account with MailChimp. And those are all autoresponders. So that just means that when you're launching a product or service, you don't want to send a bunch of emails manually to people who might be interested in your free gift and your product. You want to make sure that some of that's automated. And so your autoresponder can do that. I use Aweber. MailChimp is good. GetResponse, Constant Contact, ConvertKit. There's a bunch of different autoresponders out there. And you really want to go with one that's reputable, one that's been around for a while. And then from there, I was still on a tight budget. So what I did was I installed WordPress, which is a blogging or website platform. And sometimes those two words are used interchangeably, WordPress, website or blog. But basically, WordPress is something you can scale up. And so it'll give you a website. And what you can do is add plugins or little add-on features to WordPress, and you pay for hosting. So hosting is usually about $4 to $7 a month. Sometimes you pay that annually, but basically on a very tight budget, you can have a website and you can get this WP Affiliate platform. And so WP Affiliate is a plugin that I got for $49 one time. And that allowed me to create affiliate links. It's actually what I still use today. It's an excellent plugin. There are free WordPress, plugins that claim to do affiliate tracking, and I wouldn't recommend getting a free one just because they are not reliable and they're not supported. So you want to make sure you have a system where you can submit a ticket or write to the company and ask them to troubleshoot with you if something isn't working. So you don't want to go with just a free plugin. But if you're on a larger budget, so if you've launched a product already and then you're going through the second and third iteration of it, you may be up-leveling your software. So you might actually outgrow your autoresponder and WordPress plugins. And from there, you would want to research all-in-one systems. And by all-in-one, I mean an autoresponder, an affiliate tracker, a shopping cart, a merchant account, all under one roof. And so some examples of that are one shopping cart. So JVIC, that group that I mentioned earlier, they started out with one shopping cart, and there's different levels of one shopping cart. So you can have the autoresponder, and then if you upgrade, I think it's somewhere around like $129 a month, you can add or subtract the affiliate capabilities. And so if you're not always doing JV launches, you can have one shopping cart. Now it's a little bit glitchy, but it's been around for a long time and they do have good support. Simplified was actually one I like a little bit better than one shopping cart, and it's a little bit more expensive, but it's really good because it's almost like a 4 or 5-in-1 system. So it's got the autoresponder, affiliate tracking, it's got landing pages, it's got also a website platform, and you can build membership modules right inside of it. So it does quite a bit, and it's pretty innovative, but it's definitely something that you'll have to budget for. And so if you don't have a large budget, I don't necessarily recommend starting at that level. And then finally, Infusionsoft is the other one I'm going to mention, and that is kind of like the Bentley of these systems. So if you are very serious about marketing, you already have an established business, then you might need some more bells and whistles and advanced tracking and rule automation. And so that's where Infusionsoft comes into play, but it is not a simple system. And so I'm just warning you, if you use Infusionsoft, you're going to add probably 6 months to your launch, especially if you haven't done a launch before and you're not familiar or haven't hired a team who knows exactly how it works. There's actually people who are certified in Infusionsoft because it's a very complex system. Now from there, I uploaded my launch by upgrading what I used to create landing pages and sales pages. So what I ended up doing is getting an account with lead pages, and that's maybe $25 a month paid annually. And so before that I was avoiding monthly costs, but lead pages was definitely well worth the investment because they do research on conversion. And so they have high converting templates for your sales pages and landing pages. But of course, like as I said, I was starting out on a shoestring budget. And so I started out with Optimized Press, which functionally does very similar things to lead pages. It builds landing pages and sales pages. It is a plugin for WordPress. So if you don't have WordPress, it's not going to work for you. But if you do have WordPress, it's $97 one time, and it also comes with a membership plugin. And so Optimized Press served me for at least the 2 years out of my business. Now, WordPress, there's other blogging platforms or website platforms that you can use. For example, Squarespace, Weebly, those are common ones, Wix, but those tend to be not as robust as WordPress and not as good at SEO, and they're not very good at adding plugins and things like that. And so when you're using a platform like that, you're almost automatically, if you're going to decide to do a JV launch, going to need to upgrade to one of these all-in-one systems that I mentioned, one shopping cart, Simplified, or Infusionsoft. So you will actually spend a lot more in the long run if you stick with one of those other website platforms. Now, the payment processor or merchant account that I use to take orders on my website is PayPal, and that integrates with Aweber, with WP Affiliate, with lead pages, and so I really like PayPal, although there's a bunch of others out there that are very good. And so you just want to be aware of the fees because there are typically some fees that you pay when you take an order and actually make a sale. All right, so I didn't actually always know this stuff. And so I learned by doing, and I learned by setting up my own system and going to the company websites of the systems I purchased and watching the help videos. And I happen to have a documentation coordinator background. And so I used to do process documentation. And what I would do, because I don't remember all the steps to everything I set up, I would write it down, or I would record little Jing videos. And if you're not familiar with Jing, it's actually something free through TechSmith that you can install, and basically it helps you do screen share videos with voiceover. And so as I was setting things up, I would just record these 5-minute videos. And then with the free account, it only gives you, I think, up to a certain amount of videos that you can store. And so from there I switched to something called Loom. But it's basically the same thing. They're all little tutorials that I created for myself so that I could remember all the steps of what I set up. And you guys today are going to benefit from all of that documentation I worked on for the last, 3 to 4 years, because I've included them in a bonus. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Now, mistake number 4 is not having an idea of what a simple sales funnel is. And it really can be very simple. So a lot of times people overcomplicate this, and it does not have to be stressful or complicated. So basically, a sales funnel starts with a free gift. And that could be anything. It could be a free meditation, a checklist, an ebook, a report. I usually recommend making one that's easy to consume and easy to deliver. So you don't want to have like a 400-page ebook. You want to make sure it's something that they can easily consume. My free ebook, or actually my freebie, is an e-course. And so it's a course that I wrote out, and it has different modules in it. So it can be anything, but basically you want it to speak to your customers' pain point. So whatever keeps them up at night, your freebie needs to be about that. And it needs to be related to the offer that you're making. And so you don't want to have a freebie that's completely different, in subject matter from what you're wanting to launch. Now, from there, you're going to be creating a sales or a free gift thank you page. And so basically when people opt in, they're going to put in their name and email and get a confirmation page. And so depending on what kind of autoresponder you're using, the double opt-in may be turned on or off. And if you're not sure what a double opt-in is, basically sometimes your autoresponder will have a setting that says, it'll send another email saying, please confirm you like this free gift. And it's kind of an extraneous step. So if you're in a country where you can turn that off, where you can turn off the double opt-in, that can help you grow your list a lot faster than if you have it turned on. So, because sometimes people don't really click the link in that message, they never actually get onto your list. And so if you're in a country where you can turn that off, I do recommend turning it off. From there, you're going to create a very simple sales page. So it doesn't have to be this really long-winded, long-form sales page. I actually see a trend to summary sales pages where you have a webinar that actually delivers a lot of the content of the offer or your product or service. And then from there, people just go to a summary page and check out. So it's a lot more streamlined than some of the long form sales pages, although it depends on what you're trying to do. Because if it's something that's going to sit on your website for a long time where people don't actually watch a webinar before they go to it, you might actually need a long form sales page. And you can also get a copywriter to help you with that, because it is probably the most important thing out of this funnel. Now from here, you're going to have a confirmation page for any buyer, and you want to give them the next step and congratulate them. So you want to say, congratulations, you made a good decision by buying this offer, and you want to give them the next step. So that might be joining a Facebook group, it might be any number of things. It might be actually setting up some time with you. So it just depends on your offer, what you put on that sales page. Now from there, what I said about, the difference between big launches and small launches, it really depends on what you do in this next step. And so you can up-level your launch after you've created these 4 pages. And so basically, you want to drive traffic to those pages. And so you can have a webinar, which is what we're doing right now. You can do that live or automated. And I recommend doing the live webinar first so that you can get some stats and you can see how well your offer is performing. And if it's doing well, then you can actually automate that. And there are systems that you can use to do that so that it basically sells the offer for you in your sleep. And that's really sweet. Now, a lot of big launches, they actually hire production teams and videographers to actually do these very professional video shoots for them. And usually, when you go back to the free gift, there's maybe 3 or 4 free videos that they produce. And sometimes they're quite long, you know, up to maybe 30 minutes long. But you may not want to do that during your first launch, or even maybe wait until the 3rd time that you're launching something. And so but you can actually do some nice launch videos yourself from your home studio. And I've included in this course a bonus module that talks about how to set up your home studio inexpensively. You can actually shoot your own videos if you have a good camera and just a tripod, lavalier mic, and stuff like that. So you actually don't have to be, you know, in a 6-figure budget to produce some nice videos during your launch. And so from here, you're going to want email copies. So you're going to want to write emails where you announce that your free gift and your sales page is ready. And if you're not sure what this looks like, pretty much sign up for any marketer's campaign, because you will see a good example of all the copy involved. Especially if you're working with JV partners, they will want to see swipe copy. And so they don't want to write the copy for you, and you want to give that to them. All right, so from here, you want to make sure that those pages, the 4 pages we talked about, are optimized for conversion. And so the 2 main systems that I use for this is Optimized Press, which is that WordPress plugin, and Lead Pages. And Lead Pages is what I currently use right now, and it really is at the top of its industry as far as high converting landing pages and sales pages. They do research, and you can actually sort by high converting templates when you're picking out templates. And so if you have the copy, you can just put it in there. Of course, you want to have high converting copy as well. So that's really nice. But what lead pages will do is give you the stats that JV partners care about. And so basically they care about who's coming to the page and who's opting in and who's buying, those 3 things. And so Lead Pages just makes that really, really easy for you to figure out. There are plugins for WordPress that you can kind of do some analytics with, and they tend to be very complicated. So I don't necessarily recommend that. Lead Pages is very good at telling that for you. All right, so if you're wanting to master the JV launch sequence, it's basically these 4 steps. So you're going to choose your systems, and I recommend choosing systems that are compatible with each other. Don't just buy systems and you know, hope that they're compatible. That's one of the big mistakes that I see business owners make. You want to make sure that they're compatible from the get-go. So before you buy the system, make sure you talk to the sales team or talk to somebody like me who actually knows which systems integrate. From there, you're going to go to develop your freebie, and you may want to give yourself time to create your freebie. And sometimes you'll create more than one. Sometimes you'll create anywhere from 3 to 4 freebies. So you'll want to just give yourself a little bit of time to make sure that you have a good freebie. And from there, you're going to develop your sales funnel. And there isn't a wrong or right reason or way that you can create a sales funnel, but you know, some people do add extra layers of engagement. For example, people download the freebie and then there's a nurture sequence that follows. And so it's kind of like, you know, when you're on a first date and somebody asks you to marry them, you don't want to like give them the freebie and then like hit them with like a big sale all of a sudden. They're just not ready for that. They need to get to know you and trust you. And so usually a nurture sequence is a series of emails that aren't salesy, that are just informative, that you know, introduce you and prep people for the sale eventually. And so it's not something that they just get hit with really soon. So the final step in this process is really up leveling. So if you're using affiliates or JV partners, and sometimes those terms are used interchangeably, basically you're going to have a funnel created already, and the JVs will help you get sales. And so that's really sweet when they can help support you in this. But before you do that, you want to make sure that you test the sequence, that everything is working properly. Because if you don't test and the links don't track, JVs are probably never going to promote you again. So you want to make sure that that's working. Now, the final mistake is not planning enough for your launch. And this is a big mistake because you basically want to choose your launch date and then count back about 4 weeks minimum. And so whether you're working with a team, whether you're doing this yourself, you want to give yourself enough time to really build out these pages and make them look good, especially if you're going to be lining up JV partners. So the bigger the JV partner, like I said, when I was working with JVIC on their big launches, they have a calendar mapped out that's maybe 6 to 8 months in advance of their launch. They actually have their JV calendar planned out that far in advance. And so you don't want to just go to a JV partner at the very last minute and ask them to promote you because they may not have time in their calendar. And so, and they may even like you. They may even want to promote you. But if you haven't given them enough time, then that can be a big mistake. And the other thing is that if you're working with a team, I do recommend about 4 weeks, because especially if you're hiring somebody like a virtual assistant who may not be familiar with this launch funnel sequence and what it is you're trying to do, you don't want to just give them like 4 pages to build within 2 days and then just, not have time to test things and really not have time to optimize it for JV partners. So you want to give your team, if you're working with a team or even just one assistant, time to make sure that this looks good for you. All right, so today I am going to introduce my course, which is called Effortless Launch Formula. And you can make a lot of mistakes during your JV launch, but you don't have to. And I'm going to spell that out for you. It's going to be just effortless and easy, and you can have different levels of budget, that I'm going to present to you. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on your first launch, and this is actually really not hard to do. And so I'm going to spell it all out for you. So what you're going to get is 4 modules where I go and give you step-by-step instructions for a successful launch. We're actually going to cover the launch date, setting a price. There's actually a spreadsheet that I use to calculate prices depending on the costs of what you are dealing with in your launch. And you'll create your funnel and name your product. We're actually going to give you feedback on the name of your product because the name is pretty important. We'll work on the sales page and the freebie sequence. You'll also want to research demand for this idea. So you can actually pre-sell it. You don't have to have all of the modules written before you pre-sell it. And so you can come up with that sales page and pre-sell the idea even before you've created the modules. And we'll also talk about outsourcing. And so whether you're doing this yourself or outsourcing to an assistant or a small team, I'm going to talk about what you need to give to the team. And so basically, if they're building landing pages or sales pages for you, you might have to supply them with branding, logos. If you've recorded some videos, you'll need to send them the file or the link to the video. You might have a copywriter writing autoresponders for you, or you might be writing that yourself. So you just want to give yourself enough time to do that. And we're also going to cover case studies. Like I said, I've done probably, I lost track of how many launches I've done after 35 launches. And so I don't want you guys to make those mistakes. And so we're going to be covering that in the case studies. And then finally, if you're up-leveling your launch, your first launch may not actually involve JV partners. It might just be a launch to your own list. And then from there, you might want to optimize your sales funnel by hiring a high conversion copywriter or hiring a virtual assistant so that you can take some of the techie stuff off your plate that you don't like to do. So a lot of this is formulaic. It's literally just a very simple, effortless formula, and we're going to go over how to make that easy for you. Now, this also includes 4 live sessions with me personally. And so you can take this as a home study, but you actually can benefit right now from seeing me teach it live and getting the feedback hands-on during your launch. And so it doesn't have to take that long. And so basically, if you want to launch in the next 4 weeks, this is good for you. We're going to go over those case studies. That's a $200 value with all the case studies and all the launch experience that I have. And then I also include timelines and checklists. So a common question that I get, because people hire me and my company to do these launches, is what do we need to give you? And so that's in a simple checklist. So whether you're doing this yourself or hiring a team, you can just go down the list and make sure you have all your bases covered. Now this also includes a total value of $1,300. So the modules, the live courses, the case studies, the timelines and checklists. But I'm not going to charge you that. That's too much. But I have sweetened this by offering some bonuses. And so the first bonus is unlimited email support. And so if you have a question and you don't want to ask it in front of other people, go ahead and just email me directly. And so during the course, you're going to get my direct unlimited email support. You're also going to get a private Facebook group. And so it really helps to be in a group of entrepreneurs who understand what you're building and who are doing it as well. And so they can give you feedback on your titles, and they can also sometimes become interested in your course because they get to know you. So they might actually take your course after hearing about it and seeing you build your funnel. Now this also comes with the Master the Launch course, which has all of the step-by-step videos that I told you about earlier. And so all of those 5 to 10 minute videos on various systems that I've used to set up, those are all included in the Master the Launch course. And it's actually over 10 commonly used products. So anytime I'm, learning a new software, I have these little demo videos that I go through when I'm setting things up, and it's kind of just to look over my shoulder so that you can see how things are set up. So whether you want to do it or just hand that video off to your team, those are all included in the 4th bonus. So that's a total value of $1,400 in bonuses. Now that Master the Launch e-course, what's really cool is that if you have a virtual assistant already, you can hand the videos off to them. Now it covers in 4 modules, specifically Optimized Press and WP Affiliate. And those are, if you're starting out on a shoestring budget and you really just don't have, the budget for an expensive system, it's going to specifically cover the steps for that. But if you're not using those systems, you're going to have access to all the other videos and manuals of different systems that you can use to up-level your launch. Now here's an example of what you might see in one of the modules. And so we talked about testing, and you want to make sure that your links are working, especially if you're doing a JV launch. So this is what I do when I'm testing. And so I sign myself up as an affiliate. I change the price to $1. And I only do this if I'm not right in the middle of the launch. So you want to do this before you launch or before you have JVs send traffic to your pages. And so, yeah, you don't want to have anybody accidentally buy the product for $1. But you can do this beforehand. And so I test at $1. I opt in with my freebie affiliate link. And if it's set up correctly, it should track all the way to a sale, whether or not that sales page is an affiliate link or not. So the freebie link should go all the way to the sale. And if that tracks, you're golden. Yay. And if it doesn't, you're going to have to troubleshoot. And always change the price back to $1, or from $1 to your regular course price. So when you get the course, the 4 live modules, the case studies, the checklists, and all the bonuses, it's a total value of $2,800. But I am not going to charge that to you today. What you're actually going to get is this course for $497 one time. So here's what one of the students said. She actually took this course with her virtual assistant. She said, my experience in working within my affiliate program has been very frustrating at times. Gina's new course was just what I needed to revamp my affiliate program. Gina's course includes 4 content-rich modules, a learning library filled with resources, a Facebook forum, and training videos that offer step-by-step directions for you or your virtual assistant. I found Gina's resources to be very helpful and easy to follow. Gina's course gave me the confidence I needed to be able to promote. Now, another of my students who took this with their husband said, I enjoyed how Gina teaches us and takes us step by step through each process. She is a natural-born teacher and very receptive to questions and challenges along the way. I would recommend Gina to be part of your team personally and or invest in her expertise and knowledge in her programs and products. She is genuinely interested in your success and for you to learn new skills and take your business to the next level. And so if you actually don't like any of the tech work, you can just hire us to do it for you. All right. Another of my students says, oh my God, I love this course, Gina. I haven't even watched the videos, just experienced the support in the Facebook group and read the emails, which are packed with good information, not just typical sales copy. And I love the price calculator and recognition that contrary to what many coaches teach, focusing on copy or tech, getting the prices right can make or break a launch. Can't wait to watch the videos after work. And finally, Duncan says, celebration time. Did our first paid online class today with 25 students. Went well on our end. Thanks for your help. Much appreciated. We had a lot of difficulty getting our programs launched online. We've been at it for years. One of the reasons that we finally were able to make it happen was Gina's launch formula and Gina herself. She has always been available to help keep the pre-launch moving along and until launch time. Gina has a wealth of technical knowledge, know-how, and resources available to get the job done. I enrolled in lots of training programs, but I've never had the kinds of hands-on help that Gina offers personally. She's a great gift to anyone struggling to launch. And finally, Robin from the JVIC, that company for the JV Insider Circle. She is called the Wizard Behind the Curtain, and she says, I'd like to nominate Gina for Member of the Month. For years, she first co-led, then led our monthly tech calls, and she is always there to answer tech questions in the JVIC tech group. Thank you, Gina. You rock. And I've almost forgot. You can get 2 copies of this course, one for you and one for your virtual assistant. So if you don't have a virtual assistant right now, don't worry. If you actually do get one during the course, what you can do is just email me their name and email, and I will give them access. And so this doubles the value of Effortless Launch Formula. So don't wait. Save time and frustration. Launch quickly and easily. Use this training many times over, and don't break your budget. So if you're not sure about this, you can go ahead and try it out. And I am actually giving an 100% success guarantee. So if you buy this course, watch the lessons, do the homework, and after 4 weeks you don't launch your own course, then go ahead and show us the assignments and show that you've completed it, and we're going to give you your money back 100%. Now, if you're watching this with me live today, you're going to get a special bonus, and there's only a couple of these available, but you're going to get a live implementation done for you session with me, and this is an $800 value. And so basically we can pick a part of your launch and we will knock it out together, and so we will finally get it done for you, and you can get that if you enroll before the end of this webinar. Now, the second bonus I'm really excited about. This is time sensitive, so if you're watching this on Friday before midnight, you can still get this bonus, but Ken Course, my friend and fellow techie, is going to give you a 2-for-1 deal. So if you enroll in this course, you're also going to get access to his course, which is called Facebook Results in 2018, and it's all about Facebook ads. It's a $297 value, but it's more priceless actually, because Facebook just changed their algorithms, and so he's going to be talking about Facebook ads, and it is so so helpful that he is giving you this bonus. And so if you're watching this Friday before midnight, go ahead and take advantage of that, because that is a huge, huge value. I am so excited that he has generously added that here. So don't wait. Enroll in Effortless Launch Formula. It's just $4.97 today, and you can go to techdoneforyou.com/effortless-launch-formula. Now, I'm just going to look through the chat right now and see who has questions, because I see that some people have asked a few questions in the chat. Let's see. I don't know. Actually, I just see that I said hello to Carol. And so I'm going to go ahead and unmute all of you so that you can ask questions, and go ahead and let me know if you have any questions.
So robots are taking over there.
Might get a little loud.
What, these news presenters?
The Greek girl.
Bob,
okay.
do you have a question?
Hi, I have a question.
Sure, Sarah, what's your question?
Hi, Gina. Well, I missed the first 10 minutes or so. I was wondering how
Hey, Sylvia, it's Carol.
Oh, if there's going to be a replay.
Hi, so do you want to go out and look at properties, or do you want to, what do you want to do?
Okay, let me mute. I don't know why. I can't. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just going to answer the question. Yes, there is going to be
Actually,
a replay.
I'm not.
So
I've
if
already
you
scheduled my
registered for
Saturday and
this,
Sunday,
you'll
and Monday
go
I'm
ahead
in a
and
class
be
all
able
day. But
to,
did you decide against the duplex?
get the replay. And I actually am including a bonus. So, okay, I just muted Carol. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, I am actually including a bonus. And so if you go to this link, techdoneforyou.com/effortless-launch-formula, what you're going to see is actually a bonus that I'm giving you for attending this live. And so I'm just going to go to the page and bring up the page. And so you can actually watch the replay from another presentation that I created earlier this week with Ken Course, you know, the guy who teaches the Facebook ads. And so that's going to be right here. And then if you scroll down to the very bottom, you can click here and download your attendance prize. And so for attending live today, I'm giving you the slides of this presentation. So if you like the PowerPoint and you don't like to take notes, you're actually going to get all the slides here. And so you'll have that.
Okay.
And you'll also have access to the replay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so sorry about the noise. Okay, any other questions? You guys can post in the chat. I'm going to give you the link to Effortless Launch Formula. And again, some of these are time sensitive. And so the live implementation with me is till the end of this webinar. And then also Ken's course, which is the Facebook ad course, is also available till Friday at midnight in Eastern time. And so if you have any questions, just reach out to me. You know, please feel free to type it in the chat. If you have any systems you're not sure about, you know, that you're needing help with. I think I'm just going to unmute one by one because we do have about 10 minutes before we close. And so I know Laura's here. So Laura, do you have any questions?
Not at this time.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me mute you. Barb, do you have any questions?
Well, could you give us the link for getting that replay where we can get the slides?
Yes. So if you go to techdoneforyou.com/effortless-launch-formula, I just posted it in the chat. I'm going to post it one more time for slide You'll want to scroll to the very bottom. So it says, click here to download your attendance prize.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's where you can get it. And I do like giving the notes to people because I like to take notes, but not everybody likes to take notes. So it's helpful to have those. All right. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kat, do you have any questions? Oh, I think she's busy. Bob, any questions?
Oops. No, Gina, thank you very much. I think you asked me before, but I was talking to my really good-looking twin brother, and I only half heard you. But no, I don't. I'm a techie myself.
Okay. Well, no worries. There is going to be a replay, so I will send that out around 2 p.m. And so the same replay that's here is actually, it was a Facebook Live that I did with Ken. So you can actually watch the entire replay, zoom through it and stuff like that. So it's all going to be right there at the top.
And I'm glad that you had it at this time of day because it started at 7 a.m. here in Brisbane, Australia.
Yes, we have a global audience here. So yeah, I don't like getting up in the middle of the night to do webinars.
No.
This time worked for you. All right. Well, good to see you. All right. Any other questions? I'll unmute Sarah again. Oops. I don't know if I can. Oh, there we go. Any other questions, Sarah?
Well, let's see. I'm intrigued, and I'm just not even sure if I have a product yet. So I don't think I'm even ready to have the one-on-one session because I'm still trying to figure out the offer.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good question because a lot of my clients, who want to do launches, sometimes they don't know whether they're going to be launching services like coaching or if they're going to be doing like a group program. And you don't actually have to have that all figured out because in the market research stage, what we do is we actually, go to Facebook and we post, hey, what are you struggling with? Or even if it's just a tentative idea, that's kind of where you start to get, the initial research. So, it's kind of like the note-taking stage. And so even if you don't have like a full clarity of what you are going to offer, for a program and how many modules and this and that, you don't have to know all of that going into it. And part of it is you would probably, because this course is over 4 weeks. And so, the first module that we talk about is a tentative title. And I actually did this myself, when I was first developing Effortless Launch Formula, I had attended a live training and came up with the idea for it, but it was still germinating. It wasn't, it wasn't really clear in my head, and I had a crappy title. It was just, honest to God, it was horrible. And so I had, luckily, this copywriter that does 6 and 7 figure copy for Christian Michelson. She was at the event and I asked her, what I should call the course. And she gave me a title. And then I also, kind of iterated. So I offered it again. And then, I had another copywriter actually help me finally come up with Effortless Launch Formula. So, I mean, it actually, you don't have to have all the pieces, of the puzzle in place yet, but you just...
I was also wondering, how does it look these 4 weeks? I'm not quite sure, what does week 1 look like in terms of time?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you go back, let me see if I can go back to I already closed out my slides, but if I go back, let me scroll through. Okay, so basically on this slide where it says, 4 modules, the first module, we're talking about the launch date. So we're kind of picking tentative launch dates. And even if you don't hit that launch date, it's cool. Because you're basically kind of just, aligning your mindset to say, yeah, I want to do this. I want to give myself permission to launch. And so you kind of pick a tentative date, and from there you pick a tentative name. And then you start kind of just, seeing if people are interested in that. And you don't have to offer that. If people aren't interested in it, you don't have to go with that idea. So this is all flexible, and you can basically just kind of follow through the steps based on, has traction, because you're not going to launch something that people, basically you'll just put, hey, I'm thinking of teaching, this course about, launching and how to do it in 4 weeks without, a lot of technology. And are you interested? And literally people would just say yes under the comments, and you start contacting them. And so that's what we talk about in the first module. And then the second one, we really go into the sales page. And I actually recommend doing the sales page before the freebie, because a lot of times people like agonize over their freebie, and then like their launch drags out long, and it's just like painful if they do that. So if you start with the sales page and you already have kind of this little cohort of people who are interested in taking it, then you can do that. And then the third module is really about, the pages and the case studies and stuff like that, and outsourcing.
We're
and
doing
then
at home by ourselves, and then we join a face group if we want. We join the face group if we want and have questions or need like accountability, or just to have people around, right?
Yeah. The Facebook group, I mean, that actually, you have lifetime access to the Facebook group. And so even as I, reteach this course and add new students, you'll always have access to that Facebook group. And the same with the dashboard, you're always going to have access to all of those modules. And you can, you actually, when you buy it, you basically, get instant access to all of it. And, most of the time people don't want to go through all the content like in one day, but you can actually go through and see like, what each module is. And then I auto drip, them to you. So we basically cover one a week, and we just do these little baby steps, because like it can be very overwhelming if you're like, oh, I got to launch and now I have to do this and this, so it's much easier if you kind of break it down.
Okay, and so what you're offering is, if we do it right now and pay for $97, you would talk with us for how long about our launch?
So if you buy it, before the end of the webinar today, what you get is actually a done for you session with me personally via Zoom. And so we're on Zoom right now, but we're on with a webinar. So we're on, with a lot of people. And so basically you would have at any time, that you're ready, a one-on-one session with me, and we would pick something to do, and actually I would help you do it. So I actually call this live implementation, because a lot of times my clients, just don't have the clarity. And so sometimes what we're doing is we're just, we're getting into their systems, and we're naming the sales page, and we're kind of coming up with tentative copy, and, we just kind of get it done. And that way you have, a draft and you're started versus, kind of just thinking, having it churning in your head. So it is literally a done for you session. It's not even a coaching session. And so we'll just kind of take the part that you're struggling with, and we'll get it done.
Interesting.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, I'm thinking I want to retake it because I missed it. I missed the first 10 minutes. Maybe I'll just.
Oh yeah. If you actually go, I mean, the wording is going to be a little bit different, but I offered this webinar with Ken, who's the other guy who teaches the bonus course. I offered that last night. And so this is the recording. And so if you go to this link right now and get your slides, and also if you just go to the top of the page, you can play the replay, and that'll give you the first 10 minutes. So yeah, you can actually get the beginning of the presentation, but it's mostly my introduction. So not rocket science at the beginning of this. And of course, Ken interjects because he's got actually tons of launch experience as well. He is a fellow geek and just so knowledgeable about this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, he's helped, been on the back end of 6- and 7-figure launches too. I mean, probably closer to 7-figure launches. So, so he kind of interjects, throughout this and gives you little tips as well. So that's a good replay to watch. But yeah, if you're worried about the first 10 minutes, it's all there on that page. So, yeah. All right. Any other questions? No. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mute you and scroll up. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm just going to check the chat one more time. So the link again is techdoneforyou.com/effortless-launch-formula. And don't forget about those bonuses. So Ken's bonus is actually good until midnight Eastern time. He's in Eastern time. And so you'll still get that bonus with him if you grab a spot in the course today. And it is 2 o'clock for me Pacific, and it's right at the top of the hour, and so I'm going to be respectful of everybody's time and stop the recording. And so thank you all for attending, and I'm just going to wave goodbye. Bye. Thank you.